Hi, my name's Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to talk to you all about the energy of your eyes and the eye chakras. We're not going to call these the eye chakras, we're going to call these the eyes and the energy that the eyes hold. I have to tell you, the eyes in the face is some of the most deceiving things on the entire human body. If you know people who are two-faced, if you know people who are three-faced, five-faced, etc., you'll know that what you see on a human's face doesn't mean anything most of the time. I'll give you an example. Some of you have been like this, and you're hurting in pain, etc. Some of you are like this, and they have an ulterior motive, just completely ulterior motive. And then you'll see people who are just like this, but they have an ulterior motive, and it gets confusing, right? It gets confusing. Think about it. What you're seeing in someone's face doesn't really mean what they're actually feeling. So how do you know? Why? 1, experience. 2, intuition. 3, your angels. Most importantly, the first thing you should do, you should ask God about what are people saying and doing. And I thought this was a video about the eyes, not the face. Well, where are the eyes located? Unless you're some kind of anthropod or some kind of insects, but or anything else. That's probably not the best example, but if you know any creatures without eyes on their face, then let me know. I don't know, crab, etc. I guess. But the point of this video is, when you look at people's eyes, the eyes can tell you lies. And this is very important because this will engage your telepathy. So once you know that people's facial expressions, if people turn their heads, for example, when you go out in public and you see people look at you, it could be a million different things. If you have something they want, they might evil eye you, and they might look at you like this. So that's why you don't know who evil eyed you most of the time. So why is getting to know people's eyes very important? It's because the eyes are the gateway to the soul. The eyes are initially, and when I close my eyes, it's just like, okay, they look like they're asleep. So you can practice this technique. You can defend your energy by knowing what to do with your eyes. You can read a person by their eyes. So if you're talking to someone and they're like this, and they're bugging out, you can tell they're nervous, you can tell they're anxious, you can tell they're scared. So if you're not really sure, write all the feelings that you think they're feeling down, because even, for example, criminal investigators, they know by, if someone's eyes are popping around or bugging around and they're just flipping out, then the person that's being investigated is probably guilty, right? Why is that? It's because the body language gave them away. If the eyes are lying, but the person saying, let's just say that person, what they're saying, it sounds very genuine, but their eyes are telling a different story. So it can be kind of confusing, and the more years you're on this planet that you actually use to study, the more you'll be able to learn. So one thing I do suggest, and this is outside my YouTube video, is for you guys to study human behavior. For you to study certain when people look around, when people are doing certain things, when people do certain cues, because you'll know what people are thinking. Not even based off spiritual gifts, because that's spiritual gifts on its own, but study people's body language. So, and make a chart out of it. So a lot of people, I'm going to tell you right now, if people get anxious when they're around you, people are just anxious in general. I can tell you about 90% of the world is missing magnesium, for example, like actual magnesium. I'm a spiritual channel. I'm only teaching about the spiritual. It's more than 90%, but your statistic, Google it. But like I said, I'm a spiritualist. I'm not teaching about anything physical. Disclaimer. There's crystals with magnesite in it too. But one thing you have to know is the eyes lie. So I'm going to give you an example. And this is going to come together. Let's just say the person who likes you the most in this world, or your biggest crush, probably won't look at you at all. And then you get offended, you think they don't like you. Why is that? It's because sometimes when they actually like you too, they think you're a 10 out of 10, and they think they're a 6, and they're looking at you like, oh, I don't have a chance. So sometimes it's up to you to know that this person actually likes you. And that's why people who are bold actually, you ever see someone like, how is that, and not being offensive to anyone, but how is this guy with that woman, or how is this woman with that guy, or how is this guy with that guy, how is this woman with this woman? It doesn't even matter. But you'll see certain people who end up in certain relationships, and it's like, this person was like, maybe they were, and you'll see this with certain celebrities as well. It happens in Hollywood. So you'll see someone who wasn't famous at all, and they actually took their shot at a famous person because they knew they could read body language, and they're like, okay, cool. And that person, for example, just look at some of the celebrities who date each other, and some of them who weren't even celebrities before they actually dated celebrities. This is just an example, and this is a very good point, and I'd like you guys to pay attention to that, because what am I saying? Once you know the eyes can tell lies, and once you know the eyes tell lies, then the story is completely different. So what you see is not actually what's going on. I've made several videos about this. The eyes are the biggest, and you can even, the thing is, most of the time when you're seeing people's eye color, it's a different eye color. You're not even seeing the person's exact eye color. Try to remember the last person you met today and their eye color. It probably changed in your head. The eyes will tell you lies, both inside and outside. So what you see from your eyes going out is not fully accurate. From what you're seeing out going in is not fully accurate. So that's why, for example, you'll see some celebrities on TV and you'll see them in person. It's just like, well, this celebrity was really beautiful on, like, they look like this tall and blah, 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 and then you see them in person. It's like, and look, I'm not putting anyone down, but it's glamorized. Look at news reporters. Find your favorite news reporter. For news reporters, find your favorite news reporter that, like, some people will look up to a news reporter and be like, this is my favorite news reporter. Oh, I've been watching them since I was, and their eyes will be like, this person's like, and they'll see him in person like, hey, this is not the same person. It's because the eyes tell lies, especially television. Tell lies to your vision. Oh, bingo. But I'd like you guys to know that everything you see is not how it is. This is why you have to ask God for help. You have to ask God for help fully through in what you do, because he's the all-seeing, he's the all-knowing. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lead not into thine own understanding. What does that mean? It means God can see the front and the back of the issue. Because try to look behind yourself. I mean, with your physical eyes, try to look behind your head. You can't see. You're not a horse. Horses can see at the side, but they can't see at the front. So the eyes flat out lie. That's why your other senses will have you being in tune. So the eyes lie. If you have seen, most of the time, I'm going to tell you something right now. A lot of you will show up in a grocery store and you'll feel like, oh, no one's looking at me. No one's looking at me. And you're looking around and see people looking at you. They look at you when you turn your head because they don't want to be seen looking at you, because they might like you or they might find you interesting. And they're not, I mean, a lot of people can't approach you if they tried unless the person's naturally confident, etc. So maybe it's a job offer. Oh, a job offer. Maybe it's someone who you're attracted to. Maybe for friends or for more romantically attracted to. So you have to understand, from my point from earlier, most humans are not trained in confidence. Florida Stone, man, if I see someone at the gym, I'm going to scream, hi! And they'll be like, eh. And I'm like, oh, I'll pull people out of the shell real quick. I literally talk to every human being. Not for long, but I talk to every human being. So if I see someone, I'll do it for their sake as well, because it helps a person be more confident. For example, if I see someone in the gym and they look like they want to make friends, or they look like they're really shy or out of place, I'm like, hi, and then the person will stay in the gym much longer because they feel more comfortable in the gym. But a lot of people are waiting for someone else to approach them. Sometimes it's you have to approach them. So it could be for job opportunities, like I said, if you want to collab with someone, etc. It doesn't even matter. So especially in the spiritual world, your third eye will tell you the truth. That's the only eye that tells you the truth, the third eye. And even then, some people can have veils around their third eye, so unless you're covered with crystals, or unless you have certain crystals that pierce through veils, then you're not going to see them accurately. Then 3 eyes will be lying. That's actually how a lot of people in Hollywood get away with certain things, because all 3 eyes will be lied to. Very interesting. Now, you get in a habit of knowing that nothing you see is fully accurate. The people who like you the most will look the most nervous, they'll look like they don't like you. Why is that? It's because sometimes they think you're out of their league, they don't know how to react, they get awkward, etc. So, especially in your love lives, this is really important, and people don't know this. Some people are teaching this, sometimes it's being taught, but you have to know, everything's in the head. So a lot of people are literally living in their head. living in their head. So, for example, you ever see a good example, like the quiet student. The quiet student, they say about the quiet student, that just depends. But like I said, it's completely the eyes will lie. Now, and that's why you have to rely on your other senses too. Not just physical hearing, spiritual hearing, your clairaudience, your clairvoyance, all your senses should be active. You can smell things spiritually, but most people ignore them. A lot of people ignore their smell to the point where their physical smell goes out the window. So people won't have their physical smell because they're just ignoring that essence. So, and you have to understand, it's cultural background. Especially, for example, I've had neighbors in college that they were super friendly, but their culture, and I'm not going to say which culture, like they're supposed to look down. If you look at them, it's like kind of rude. So, in essence, in saying hi to someone like that, then that person, you have to understand the cultures and the backgrounds of their culture. So you can't just assume stuff. So when it comes to that, you have to know that you can't just make assumptions, especially because everyone's from a different culture. So one person, their culture might mean this, one person's culture might mean that. It's completely different. I'm not going to make any examples at all when it comes to that, but for example, and I'm about to roll my window soon, it's fine. More people showing up, but but when it comes to certain cultures, and yeah, I'm going to open the Bible. When it comes to certain cultures are, there's a certain set of rules. Certain cultures, there's not as many rules. I'm not going to use examples, but literally studying certain cultures or understanding certain cultures will help your ability in understanding what these mean. So let's get into applying this to if you're an entrepreneur, job opportunities. If you're talking to an interviewer or if you're trying to get a job and you're not making eye contact with the it might mean something completely different to you, but energy doesn't lie. It can mean you're nervous. It could mean that you just haven't practiced making eye contact. But if you're interviewing a job interviewer and your eyes are like this, they know. In essence, they are going to kind of take advantage of the situation. Like they're going to start asking you tougher questions, etc. You ever make direct eye contact with an interviewer? They get intimidated. They forget who they're interviewing. They forget what's being interviewed. And the questions actually go off of whatever the job is about, and they start going into their personal lives because it's more of a connection. The gateways to the soul create a connection. So the eyes are extremely important. That's super interesting. I remember when I was young, I knew this. So when I was very young, the first job I ever got, I actually did know this because in high school I wasn't the best student because I was studying other things like spirituality and whatnot and different. If you wonder why I know so much now about what I know, it's because I've been doing it for a very long time. When people were in school were studying stuff, I was skipping school and I was studying spirituality and stuff like this. But this applies into your life a little bit more. Depends on what you go to school for. But so I remember one job interview. I walked in there and I was just like, this is mine. It's mine. And this is why am I giving such good advice on how for you guys to get job interviews? And essentially, you guys will have so powerful communication skills that you'll just be able to start your own businesses and you'll flourish. You'll exceed. You'll do very well. Now, you walk into the interview, you look them directly in the eye, you shake their hand, and you just when they look away, kind of call them on their bluff. So they're just kind of like look back at their eyes, so like if they're fiddling with their pen, because not all job interviewers are fully qualified of interviewing. So literally, like, just keep track with your eyes. Now, like I said, the eyes will tell lies. So even their eyes will start exposing them. So in essence, it's almost opposite world. It's almost opposite day. So if someone looks at you and looks away, that means, it could mean anything. It could mean literally anything. So, and your eyes will tell you, and once you start studying more about cultures, backgrounds, human behaviors, because it's not just the eyes. It's people like shaking their feet, people tapping their legs. So you can tell, okay, this person's anxious, and then you make your own chart. This person's anxious. It's because they've had too much coffee. They're not used to being around people like that. Maybe they're doing something wrong. Maybe they're doing something they've never done. Maybe they're going out of their comfort zone. And like I said, most of you guys, and it's crazy because most of the time, two people who are considered, one will consider the other one to be intimidating, the other one will consider the other one to be intimidating, and the two people just don't talk, and that connection's not made. Like I said, everything starts in the mind. Ask God for guidance. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Make sure you check out FloridaStoneman.com. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.